Alrighty guys, we're gonna lay down on our backs, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. We're gonna place our hands over our pelvis, fingertips on the pubic bone, wrists over the hips. For a neutral spine, we want a natural arch underneath the lower back, tailbone pressed down, and hands and pelvis parallel to the floor. For an imprinted spine, you want to use your abdominals to flatten your lower spine towards the floor, tailbone still touching but not pressed down, and your pubic bone will now sit higher up towards the ceiling. This should take work to hold and maintain. Inhale, we're going to shift back into our neutral with the natural arch and tailbone down, and then exhale, shifting down into imprinted. Inhale, back into neutral, and exhale down into imprinted, flattening the spine down as much as you can. One more of each. Inhale, neutral, exhale down into imprinted. And we're going to soften back into our neutral spine and look at the T-zone. Imagine a capital letter T over the pelvis. We're going to lift our pelvic floor up along the vertical line of the T. So squeeze and lift. We're going to draw our hips in towards each other across the horizontal line of the T. And then we're going to flatten the center of the T down towards the spine. Again, that's inhale, pelvic floor up, hips in towards each other, flattening down towards the spine. Good. From here, we're going to move our hands to our ribs, the bottom ribs. Inhale through the nose, draw the T-zone in. Ribs expand into the hands. Exhale, you're going to close the ribs down and in towards the hips. Inhale, T-zone, ribs expand. And exhale through the mouth, ribs down and in towards the hips. Without moving the spine, we want to draw those ribs down closer towards the hips as you exhale, closing down and in. Inhale, T-zone, lifting through the pelvic floor. And exhale, closing the ribs down and in. Couple more breaths. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, ribs to hips. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, ribs to hips. One more. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, ribs to hips. Good. As you keep breathing, we're going to bring the shoulder blades down and back, tucking the chin all the way in and lengthening up through the top of the head. Placing your hands over your hips or down by your sides, wherever is comfortable. We're going to sit in a neutral spine with the tailbone down, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Moving into a bent knee, fall out. So inhale, T-zone. Exhale, let one knee gently fall out towards the edge of the mat. And inhale, bring the knee back in towards the center. Exhale, let the other knee gently fall out towards the edge of the mat, rocking towards the outside of the foot. Inhale, bring the knee back in towards the center. Aiming to anchor your tailbone down to the floor. Keep your sit bones pressed into the floor evenly. Neutral spine with a natural arch under the lower back. Keeping your hips and pelvis still and parallel to the floor. So as you let the knee rock out towards the side, we want to draw the hip in and across towards the other side. So we're not rocking back and forth through the pelvis. Good. Exhale, let the knee fall out. Inhale, bring the knee back in. Keep going, couple more. It's not about how far you can get that knee out, but how much you can control the rest of the body. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, ribs to hips. Neutral spine, tailbone down. Good, bringing both knees back in line with the hips now, feet flat on the floor. We're going to move into lift foot. So starting in our neutral spine once again, hands either on the hips or by your sides. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, we're going to bring one knee up into tabletop position. So that's knee above the hip, shin parallel to the floor. Inhale, lower completely to the floor. And exhale, lifting the other leg up into tabletop position. Inhale, lower, T-zone tight. And exhale, connect ribs to hips to draw the knee towards the chest. Trying not to rely on the hip flexor to pull the knee up, but using the breath to draw the knee towards the chest. Inhale, lower, T-zone tight. And exhale, lift the other side. Good, aiming to keep your weight evenly distributed between your hips. So as you switch from one side to the other, we don't have this big weight shift. So keeping everything tight and even. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Good, keeping shoulder blades down and back, chin tucked in, neck nice and long. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, ribs to hips. Building that mind to muscle connection. Concentrating hard. Good, placing both legs down now. I'm going to build on that and move into lift and extend. So from here, inhale, T-zone, lift one leg into tabletop. Exhale, you're going to close the ribs down and in and extend the leg out along the mat, reach through the toes. Inhale, bring the knee back into tabletop and exhale, lower to the floor. Switching legs, we have inhale, lift. Exhale, extend, ribs to hips, reaching through the toes. Inhale, bring the knee back up and exhale, lower. Keep alternating the legs. Closing down the ribs towards the hips on that exhale. Keeping the T-zone tight, spine neutral. We don't want to extend the arch just to get our foot further. To make this easier, you can extend the leg higher, and to make it harder, you extend the leg lower. So easy version up here, harder version down here. Good, keep going, couple more. Connecting the breath to the movement, ribs to hips. Inhale, T-zone. Concentrating hard, building that mind to muscle connection. Lifting through the pelvic floor, drawing those hips in towards each other, scooping down, ribs to hips. Good, resting both legs down now. We're going to move into heel slides. Once again, hands over the hips or on the floor, whichever is more comfortable. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, we're going to slide one leg along the mat, reaching out through the toes, closing the ribs down and in. Inhale, T-zone, slide the heel back up towards your bum. And switching sides, exhale, sliding the other leg out. Inhale, T-zone, draw the heel back in. And exhale, sliding out. Closing those ribs down and in towards the hips. T-zone tight. Tailbone down, natural arch under the lower back. Keeping your hips parallel to the floor. Couple more. This is not a stretch. We don't want to reach those toes out as far as we can. We're going to close the ribs in towards the hips. using the abdominals to support the spine. Couple more. Good, bringing both feet in now. Knees bent, feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Neutral spine, we're going to take the hands up in front of the chest now, palms facing each other, reaching through the fingertips, keeping the shoulder blades down and back. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, we're going to take the hands back towards the head, behind the head, thumbs facing the floor, ribs to hips. Inhale, T-zone, bring the hands back up in front of the chest. And exhale, taking the hands back behind the head. Inhale, T-zone, hands towards the ceiling. Keep going, drawing the T-zone in, closing those ribs down and in towards the hips as hard as you can as you take the hands behind the head. It's okay if you don't almost reach the floor. It's more important to get the abdominal work than it is to move as much as you can. Shoulder blades down and back, chin tucked in, neck long. If this feels challenging enough, keep going with that. If you want a little bit more, on your next exhale, you're going to take one leg and both arms and extend out. So arm prep with a heel slide. Inhale, bring everything back in towards the middle. And exhale, switching legs and taking both arms back. Inhale, T-zone, bring it all back in. And exhale, ribs to hips, holding that neutral spinal position nice and strong. Good, remember it's not a stretch. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, ribs to hips. Tailbone down, natural arch, shoulder blades down and back, ribs to hips, T-zone tight. One more each leg. Good, and resting there, relaxing the arms. Keeping the knees bent and feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Keeping our neutral spine, we're going to bring the hands behind the head now, elbows wide, shoulder blades down and back, chin tucked in, neck nice and long. Our first exercise is going to be an ab curl. So inhale, T-zone. Exhale, curl the head and shoulders up, eyes to the knees, and inhale, lower. Exhale, curl, ribs to hips, keeping that curve underneath the lower back. Tailbone down, try not to flatten down or squeeze your bum. Exhale, curl, inhale, lower. Scoop that T-zone in, ribs to hips. Breathing through it. Good, keeping elbows wide, shoulder blades down and back, chin tucked in. We're going to add a lift foot back in. So inhale, T-zone. Exhale, going to lift one foot into tabletop and curl up, eyes to the knees. And inhale, lower the foot and the head completely. Exhale, lift the other foot. And inhale, lower. Working hard to keep that tailbone down, natural arch, shoulder blades down and back. We're not bringing the knee up towards the chest, we're keeping it on top of the hip. Closing the ribs down and in towards the hips, scooping those abdominals down and in. Couple more. Good, last one. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Good, we're going to shift now into a heel slide with ab curl. So inhale, T-zone. Exhale, we're going to slide one heel out along the mat and curl ribs to hips. And inhale, bring the heel back in and relax the curl. Other leg, exhale, extend. And inhale, bring it back in. Good, keep a gentle arch in that lower back. Ribs to hips, T-zone tight. Holding that T-zone tight to avoid big weight transfers from side to side. We want to keep the pelvis and hips as still as possible. Couple more. And resting down. Good, we're going to shift into oblique curl next. So as we curl up on our next curl, we're going to cross one rib towards the opposite hip and then to the other side on the next rep. So inhale, T-zone, exhale, curling up, rib towards the opposite hip, eyes to the outside of the knee, and inhale, lower. Exhale, curl to the other side, and inhale, lower. Keeping the elbows nice and wide, shoulder blades down and back. Remember, it's shoulder to knee, rib to hip. Natural arch under the lower back, keeping the pelvis as still as possible. Draw the T-zone in, scoop and flatten those abs down as much as you can. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. Try not to flatten the spine. Keep a natural arch under the lower back with the tailbone down. Good. On your next curl up, we're going to move into lift foot as well. So the knee that you curl towards, we're going to bring into lift foot. And inhale, lower back down. Switching sides. Exhale, curl up and into lift foot. Inhale, lower. Rib towards the hip, shoulder towards the knee, elbow nice and wide. Tailbone down, natural arch under the lower back. T-zone tight with the pelvic floor up, hips in towards each other, scooping down towards the spine. Couple more. And resting there. We're going to combine our heel slides with our oblique curl. So inhale, T-zone, exhale, oblique curl towards one side and extend the opposite leg long. So switch legs, Briley. Inhale, bring the heel back in and relax the curl. And exhale, curl to the other side. Eyes to the knee that stays still. And inhale, lower. Exhale, curl. Extend the other leg, reaching through the toes. And inhale, lower. Breathing through it. Good, and resting down. All right, have a little bit of a stretch. Fingertips towards one wall, toes towards the other. Couple of deep breaths. Take the hands by your sides now. We're going to shift into our imprinted spine, flattening the spine down towards the floor, holding tight with the abdominals. We're going to move into tabletop as an exercise. So inhale, T-zone, lift one knee into tabletop. Exhale, gently lift the other knee into tabletop. Inhale, lower one leg to the floor, and exhale, lower the other. If you can, alternate which side you start with. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lower. Good. Working hard to keep your spine flattened towards the floor. Nice and controlled. Start the breath out before you lift your second foot. Inhale, lift, T-zone tight. Exhale, ribs to hips. Gently lift the other knee. Inhale, lower, and exhale, lower. Couple more. Last one. And resting down. Good. We're going to hold in that tabletop position now. So keep the spine imprinted. Lift both legs one at a time up into tabletop. And we're going to move into toe taps. So inhale, T-zone. Exhale, lower, controlled. Tap the floor with the toes or the heels. And inhale, lift back into tabletop. Exhale, lower, tap. Inhale, lift. Breathing through it, working hard to keep that spine flattened to the floor. Closing down the ribs towards the hips. T-zone tight. If you're really struggling in this position, you can bring your knees in closer towards the chest and straighten the feet out towards the ceiling. And then as you tap the foot towards the floor, tap closer to your bum. And if you want to make it even more challenging, you can tap further away. Inhale, bring the knee back up, and exhale, tap the floor. Strong through those abdominals, spine imprinted, ribs to hips. T-zone tight. Couple more. Good. Bring those knees back into tabletop. We're going to place the hands behind the head, elbows wide, shoulder blades down and back. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, we're going to curl those head and shoulders up towards the knees, and inhale, lower. Exhale, lift, ribs to hips, and inhale, lower. Breathing through it, keeping that spine imprinted. Shoulder blades down and back. Elbows wide. Couple more. Good, we're gonna keep our curl with our breath, so exhale, curl up, and we're gonna toe tap down towards the floor. Inhale, bring the knee back and lower the head, and exhale, curl up and toe tap the other leg. Inhale, knee back up and relax the curl. Breathing through it, scooping those abs down and in. Keeping that spine imprinted, T-zone tight, ribs to hips. Couple more. Good, we're gonna hold that curl now as we breathe. Exhale, lower one foot. And inhale, lift. Keep the curl up nice and high. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Ribs to hips. T-zone tight. Scooping those abs in. Couple more. Good, relax the curl, take one leg down at a time, and take a big deep breath in. Good. We're going to now shift into our oblique curls in our tabletop position. So we're going to imprint that spine again. Bring both legs one at a time up into tabletop. And we're going to oblique curl up. So inhale, T-zone. Exhale, curl rib towards the opposite hip, shoulder to knee. And inhale, lower. Exhale, curl to the other side. And inhale, lower. Breathing through it, keeping your legs, knees, hips and pelvis nice and still. All the rotation comes from the top of the body, rib towards the hip. Couple more. Exhale, curling up. Inhale, lower. Okay, on our next curl, we're going to take the eyes towards the knee and then toe tap our opposite leg towards the floor. Inhale, bring the curl back towards the floor, bring the knee back up. And exhale, curl to the other side and tap the other foot. Inhale, lower, and exhale, lift. Breathing through it. Rib towards the opposite hip, scooping that T-zone in. Keeping the spine imprinted, using those abdominals to keep the spine flattened down as much as you can. Good, bringing both knees up, we're going to hold that curl up now. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, curl across to one side and extend the opposite leg out over the mat. Inhale, bring the knee back in, center the curl. And exhale, curl to the other side and extend the opposite leg long. Inhale, center the curl. Exhale to the other side. Couple of these to finish off. Tight through those abs, T-zone tight, ribs to hips, shoulder to knee. Good, bring both knees in towards the chest, hands over the knees, relax the curl. Give the hips a little rock. And resting down one leg at a time. Good, moving into some stretches to finish off. We're going to move into our hip flexor stretch. Okay, so one leg forward on the mat. We're going to tilt the pubic bone up towards the belly button and then slide the hips forward. Relaxing the stretch, switch to the other leg. Good. Tilt the pubic bone towards the belly button and then slide forward. Okay, bringing both legs back, knees wide, feet together. We're going to take the hips back over the ankles and walk the hands out as far as you can. Resting the forehead on the floor if you can. From here, we're going to walk the elbows back towards the knees. Tilt the tailbone down towards the toes, rounding through the lower part of your spine. Gently lifting out of the stretch. And give yourself a pat on the back.